your long-term relationship problems? Yeah, what about them? Why do we grasp at them even though they seem painful? Why is marriage so difficult? What is the solution? Yeah. You found the person that you married or got into the long-term relationship with. That person emerged as a result of your good karma. You wouldn't have married somebody who like initially looked like a nightmare, right? No, initially they looked like somebody that could make you happy, right? No, they look good. They look up. You know how it goes, right? You finally found Mr. Right or Ms. Right. Finally found them. After all these looking around, finally they come. And you know, it's just so great. And everything they say is like poetry. And oh, we laugh together. We're soulmates. And I finally found my soulmate. We laugh together. We cry together. We like the same movies. Everything's just awesome, right? And that has come from your karma. That has come from you trying to make another person feel that way in the past. You see? That's where it came from. Mr. Right and Ms. Right popped up as a result of your karma in the past. And if you don't recreate the karmic causes that brought you Mr. Right or Ms. Right in the first place, then you just suck the karma out of it. You see? You just use it up. And here's how that goes. For anyone who hasn't experienced this, I can't imagine there's anyone in this room who hasn't had an experience like this, where you just use up the karma. And Mr. Right or Ms. Right all of a sudden looks like, you know, after about, what, 3-6 months, start to look like Mr. Neutral, Ms. Neutral. You know, you're okay, you know, you're all right, but something's really bothering me about you, you know? And then, you know, time-elapse photograph, right? It depends how strong the karma is for how long it will take for you to get to that, you know, midpoint. If you don't recreate the causes that brought you the person in the first place, the experience of having Mr. Right or Ms. Right in the first place. You're just using it up. And then if you know, the time-elapse photograph continues, and Mr. Right all of a sudden turns to Mr. Wrong. You know, over the course of what, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Ms. Right turns into like your worst nightmare. Did they change? Did they change? Well, they probably did, actually. But your perception of them changed as a result of your changing. Your perception of them changed as a result of your changing. Your perception of them went from Mr. Right or Ms. Right to Mr. or Ms. Wrong. And that's a change in your karma, you see? You used up the karma that brought you Mr. or Ms. Right. So how do you maintain a good long-term relationship, okay? For no extra charge, free marriage counseling here, okay? No, this is the single most powerful way to keep a good relationship going, and actually the only way, is to continue the karma that brought you them in the first place. In other words, stop worrying about what you can get from them and worry about what you can give to them. Stop worrying about what they're going to do for you and start worrying about what you can do for them, right? Try to make them happy. Stop thinking about how come they're not making you more happy. You see, turn the karmic tables around. Start to recreate the causes that brought you them in the first place by serving them, by trying to make them happy, by trying to suss out what could make their life better for them. And try and do that for them. And then you're creating the karma for having a good relationship. And if you're not doing that, you're just using up the old karma. You're just using up whatever old karma you had that brought you the relationship in the first place. And it will go wrong. It will definitely go wrong. It will definitely go sour. Unless you're recreating it like that. Yeah? So I always tell the old joke. I get to tell my jokes over and over again. This is a new crowd. I got a new crowd. But you know, I've been in several long-term relationships, marriages, and so forth. I know what it's about. And maybe you are familiar with the words. These are the words that, you know, really make you break out into a sweat. When your partner says to you, honey, we need to talk about our relationship. And you know, that's code word for, you know, you're a big loser. And you've been making me really unhappy, and we need to talk about how you're going to stop being such a loser and start being, you know, good to me again. And you know, so maybe you've heard those words, and maybe it knows how, you know how it feels. You know, you start like thinking, well, is there any excuse I can make to not have this conversation? Is the trash need to be taken out? Or, and you probably have also said this to someone else. Honey, we need to, because, you know, we all have this inverted idea that it's someone else's job to make us happy. And it's someone else's power, it's in someone else's power to make us unhappy. And so we think, well, if we can talk about a relationship, i.e. if we can convince the other person to stop being such a loser and to start being like somebody who's trying to make me happy again, then we'll be happy. So try it differently, change it up. When you're having a difficult time with your partner, say, you know, you can start with the same, opening. You can say, honey, we need to talk about our relationship. And then kind of like watch them squirm a little bit and, you know, look at their watch and go, I don't know, and oh my God, here it comes. And then change it up and say, what more could I do for you? Did you like the flowers I brought you last week, or should I get other colored ones? Did you like the red ones, or would you prefer the white ones this week? Did you like the white chocolate, or would you rather have milk chocolate? Can I take you out to dinner and just, you know, what can I do for you? And that's the secret of a good relationship, right there. Full stop. Okay? What can I do for you? Hmm? So, on the other hand, okay? No, I mean, karma sometimes takes time. Karma takes time to ripen. And if, you know, if you're in a karmic hiatus where no matter what you do to try to please the other person, they don't seem to be pleased. That's not coming from your trying to please them now. That's coming from old karma. The running out of the good karma that brought you them in the first place, and old karma of, you know, you being nasty to other people in the past. And it does not seem to me to be useful. Sometimes it is. I'll back up. Sometimes you just have to persevere through that. Sometimes if you have the wherewithal, persevere through that karmic hiatus, and then really try to turn the karmic situation around by trying to serve them, by trying to, you know, recreate new karma that will make you have a different perception of their response to your actions, you see? But if there's a hiatus that goes on too long, or that gets really nasty, you know, like, I sometimes get the question of like being in an abusive relationship. Is it a dharmic practice to stay in an abusive relationship? And the answer to that question, generally speaking, is no. And the reason for that, so there are times where, you know, there is this kind of, you know, hiatus in the karma. There's a period where it's just gone so wrong that your best and most compassionate act is to get out of the relationship. But here's how you should think about it. It is not good for the other person to be abusive to me. They're creating huge negative karma for themselves by being this kind of perpetrator of violence, you know, physical or otherwise, towards me. And it is not a spiritual activity to be a doormat. Okay, to just have people walk over. For them, you see, because of them. So out of compassion for them, it's sometimes the best thing to do is to get out of the relationship, you see? So this is a little bit of a gauge on the whole question of should I leave or should I stay? Which is better for them? Should I leave or which is better for them? Is it better for them, for me to try to stay and work it out and recreate the karma? Or is it better for them, for me to get out so that they don't replicate the causes over and over and over again for future suffering by being cruel and harmful to me? Okay, go.